That was the first line. There it is. We're recording. We're on.
This is fun.
The air. Justice League.
Justice. We saw that film. We're not gonna prattle on.
We honestly were going to do an entire podcast about it, but then we saw it and we were like, I just literally don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
It is exactly the movie you think it will be, and if you think you'll like it, you'll like it. If you don't think you will, you most definitely will not.
Yeah. Either way, it's exactly what you expect and want it to be.
Yeah. So, you know.
We expected it to be not great. We wanted it to be... Well, we wanted it to be great. But
I mean, I want everything to be great.
That's a guitar string right there.
Oh, cool. Hey, that leads in.
Music. Segue! Oh my god!
Well, we're going to talk about something that isn't movies, even though this is called the Cynical Cinephile podcast. But hey, we have range. We can do things. We're going to talk...
Call it the Chow Kukesta podcast.
Oh, gosh. Oh, let's go talk about the Muzaks.
Go, Anthony.
Anthony Fanturner. Danny Phantom.
Alright, so
We're talking about music.
we haven't planned this out very well.
So it's going to be different than usual, but I mean, we talk about music the same way we talk about movies. We like...
With way too many words.
Yeah. So, we wanted to talk about our favorite albums from each genre of music. And Morgan said this is basically going to be us just kind of deliberating on what they even are.
Yeah, we didn't really go into this planned.
Yeah, it's sort of impromptu, and I think with music it's just kind of better that way, just because it's more free-form of a medium, you know? Though I do have, on hand...
A list of all my favorite albums.
I do, except it's all the albums I've like listened to recently, which is like 3, and all of the albums I've given a 5 to on Sputnik, and I ordered the 5s in order of what they'll be on my favorites list, so I do have that. So that'll be kind of a thing.
Well, you're already like 3 steps ahead of me, so there's that.
So, what genre should we just say, like, what kind of music we're into in general first, so they can get a good idea, maybe? We're both alt-rock and prog-rock boys.
Just a metalhead. Just a simple metalhead.
We both like metal. I mean, honestly, the only music I don't like is, like, stadium country rock.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, modern stadium country.
Mm.
Like, I like old country. Like, I like Johnny Cash. I kind of like stuff like Dolly Parton, just because it's got this old feel to it. But I like, yeah, no, we'll get into Isbell later.
You said words.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
But I think the first let's talk about the genre of music and then albums that got us into music to begin with. I think it's probably going to be the same for both of us. Is it alt rock? For you,
like genres that got us into music.
Yeah.
Yeah, then definitely. Like,
I started listening to Linkin Park.
Well, yeah.
I mean, everybody did.
Yeah.
When Transformers came out, and we were just like, hey, what's that song at the end? Start again. How do I remember that?
Yeah.
The most unmemorable song. Yeah, I don't like Linkin Park anymore. Rip Chester Bennington. You were a good guy.
Yeah, he's a nice boy.
He's a nice boy. I just didn't like his music. But, yeah, it was the genre that got me into music because, we were both lonely white boys, so of course we like alt-rock. But, what was, like, I guess Linkin Park was the band that got me into it, technically speaking, but then after that it was Green Day.
Yeah, it was Green Day first for me.
Green Day's alt-rock, punk rock, light, kind of... They're pop alt and pop punk rock?
Yeah.
I guess. It's really hard to classify them.
Strangely enough. Because they're, like, really simple.
Yeah. Simple Plan.
We don't talk about Simple Plan in this house.
Okay. That's probably a good rule to have.
Yeah. Like, the first album I ever bought of my own volition, like, the first full album was American Idiot.
American Idiot, yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, that's my favorite Green Day album, still.
Yeah.
I like Dookie, alright. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, my favorite is Warning now, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I told you that.
Oh, yeah, I guess you did. Green Day, it's just kind of like anything that's not American Idiot. Just...
Yeah.
It's still catchy. I mean...
Warning's fantastic, I'm just saying.
I'll have to give it another listen. I'm trying to think of, like, beyond Green Day, like, what other bands that just got me into music in general.
Queen.
Queen, like, the first couple bands I listened to, and singular artists. Billy Joel was a big one. Still like Billy Joel, in fact. The Stranger. That's a great album. I'll talk about that.
I was also really into Fleetwood Mac around the same time.
I'm still into Fleetwood Mac.
Well, yeah.
Actually, I got into Stevie Nicks and then Fleetwood Mac, not the reverse.
Huh.
Which is weird because no one I know is. I was just like, wow, this Landslide song is really good.
Well, that's a Fleetwood Mac song.
But I listened to a live version that only Stevie Nicks performed. And let's see, what other band?
Sorry.
Oh. Go watch our It commentary. You already have.
Oh no!
Broke 100 today.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, maybe we're hitting the big time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But let's. What else is there? What other
Is
bands?
this like safe to say that this is basically a you and I run channel at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you edit the stuff and you're like in charge of like the ideas and whatnot. But
I feel like we're personality driven though, and that very much requires you.
yeah, I guess that yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting one because I'm not quite as into him as I used to be. But Michael Jackson, I listened to a lot of everything off of Bad and Thriller. I was just.
I always loved like a few songs, but I was never like crazy about them. Like, you know,
like a lot of it was just the music that my mom listened to. Like I'm trying to think of like a lot of Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
With her, and then there was Billy Joel. The Police actually. A lot of that too. And you know, Police are still pretty good. I mean, for what they are, they wrote the Stalkers national anthem. But you know,
I mean, and Sting's name is Sting. So that's stupid.
Yeah.
At least he's not
Not
Bono.
into his solo stuff. Have you ever listened to it?
No.
It's not good. Oh, the Beatles. I was like the first band I was ever like, hey, look, a band of people.
Me.
Yeah, Morgan's not a huge fan of the Beatles. I am not such. I do not belong in that camp.
I am not a pleb.
I'm not a plebe. Is there any other bands, groups? Because I didn't get into Bowie until high school, even though I'd consider him my favorite musician. Morgan's got his Muzak. What's the first metal band you got into? Because you like the metal.
Metallica.
Yeah, mine too.
What do you think?
Yeah, mine was too. Well, Morgan and I are both metal boys. I mean, it was pretty much the Black Album was the first thing I really listened to of that ilk. I actually did listen to a lot of score music. Like the first thing I told you about in the car is I had a Walkman when I was a kid, and I used to listen to the soundtrack to Treasure Planet. It also had those two actual pop songs that were pretty good, like the one that plays when he's like flying. That movie's really good. I don't own that on Blu-ray. What song is that? It just sounded like the opening chords to a song.
Well, I mean, it's like the first three chords of every song.
That's true.
G, D, C.
Neil Diamond. He was somebody else. And Eric Clapton. Eric
Clapton was also pretty big for me when
he was a fantastic guitarist.
When I was a young boy.
When I was a young boy. Did you see Film Crit Hulk's tweet about that the other day?
No.
He just went like, when I was a young boy, my father took me to the city to see a marching band and told me he had a lot of expectations of me that were kind of unfair. It's like, yeah, that song.
That's like a lot.
It's like one of the 3 My Chemical Romance songs I listened to back when I did listen to them.
All right, so now that we're on that, we're gonna get on a tangent.
Good bands.
They used to be like my favorite band.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I can see it.
I listened to like all of the albums. Although I don't
think their albums I mean, of course, but just I don't think they hold up that super well just as albums.
They're not. They don't.
They're like 3 out of 5s.
The only one I didn't like even when they were like my favorite band, was Danger Days, because that one just sucks.
Yeah, it's fairly standard. I don't remember anything about it, so that's what I'm going to assume.
But the first album, I think it's the best one. Now that I'm looking back,
which one's the first one?
I really do not remember.
I don't remember either. That just goes to show how memorable it was.
And then the second album, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, was
like
the best. And it doesn't hold up great now. It's like really messy and kind of obnoxious.
Their production was never that good.
No.
Should have been, though. They had no reason to sound that way.
Yeah.
They weren't that punk, you know?
Yeah, like, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge was produced by the same guy who produced American Idiot. And they came out the same year.
Really?
So
That's unfortunate for that album. American Idiot's a lot better.
yeah. Well, I mean, people really loved it. So
Yeah. Well, so should we just say a genre?
I wasn't done yet.
Oh,
all right.
Go ahead, boy.
Yeah, the Black Parade was like, the favorite,
Mm-hmm.
for
It's
me.
everybody's.
And that album really does not hold up.
No, it's got like a couple good cuts.
It's supposed to be like some massive sweeping concept album, like in the vein of
Coheed and Cambria.
A little bit, yeah. And like Ziggy Stardust and stuff. And
Does not.
No.
I mean, nothing is as good as the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Considering the first song on the Black Parade is ripped off wholesale from 5 Days.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, like...
Which is my second favorite Bowie song.
The first song on the Black Parade is like... And then 5 Days is like...
Dun, 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 dun.
It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
The same. And like some massive, like sweeping epic concept album about death and stuff. And just none of the songs go together in a way that makes sense.
Well, concept albums about death, it's like, I don't know. I don't even feel like that's the right genre for something like that. I'm just way more accustomed to hearing something from that, like, this just intense, like, metal.
Deadwing.
Yes. Porcupine Tree or Opeth. Bands that we didn't get into later because they're Porcupine Tree and Opeth. So,
Yeah,
maybe we should start... should we talk about artists or albums? We can do artists later, because that'll be kind of intertwined, I guess.
Yeah.
So, just pick a genre at random, I guess, to start off with?
Well, the shortest one for me is going to be hip-hop, so I guess we'll start there.
That's a good one, because I'm a lot more into that than you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, it creates an interesting dichotomy.
So I guess I should go first.
I am intrigued to hear what you... Oh, yeah, I got it, never mind.
Like, you got my favorite?
Of your favorites, because I was just like, what kind of rap does Morgan actually like? And then I was like, his favorites again. Oh yeah, that's right. You like a lot of late 90s,
Yeah.
early 80s, or not early 80s, late 80s,
Yeah.
like Wu-Tang and stuff.
I never got super into Wu-Tang. I didn't. But Illmatic is up there, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good pick.
But I think my favorite is probably just Good Kid, Bad City.
That's really funny because that has been my favorite for years.
Yeah.
Is that it was either that or because of the internet, but then recently I was just like,
Good Kid, Bad City's better.
yeah,
It really is.
No, I mean I knew that because the internet is a great album. Do not let me misspeak here. But comparing it to any Kendrick Lamar album other than Damn, I mean yeah, kind of Section 80, but Section 80 is still kind of better.
Yeah.
But I like that because that's not the kind of hip-hop that I super got into, but I think we both meet in the middle, because Good Kid, Mad City sounds like it's from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like Tupac, except it's Kenny. Colin Rokin. Like, I've listened to that album. It's honestly, like, I hate to be a cliche here, but, like, all of my favorites are gonna be Kendrick Lamar. Just because,
Yeah.
I mean, Kendrick Lamar is the Beatles of hip-hop.
Yeah, I mean,
he just did everything and did it really well.
And there's also, like, Biggie's Ready to Die, and...
Classics.
Yeah, just classic stuff. Like, I never got crazy into it.
NWA, ever? Their stuff's aged a bit.
Yeah, I'm not, like, crazy huge into it. My second favorite hip-hop album is probably The Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest.
That's the one I was expecting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've
definitely listened to Low End Theory way more than Good Kid, Mad City, but...
Well, Good Kid, Mad City is, like, an odyssey.
Yeah.
You have to commit. Like, I mean, with most Kendrick Lamar albums, other than Damn, you gotta really, like, sit down and listen to that. It's like Coheed and Cambria.
I mean, that's why, like, To Pimp a Butterfly is not my favorite. Just because it's, like, such an investment.
That one grew on me over the past year. Like, before I was completely out, but now I'm like, I don't know. It's just really easy for me to get in. Because I still need to listen to the whole thing. But... I don't know. Once I finally listened to it and fully digested it, I was just like, this is the best hip-hop album ever recorded.
Yeah.
And there are some cuts that I listen to casually, like, like King Kunta is always a banger. Institutionalized, Nah, Mama Said is one of those songs where you gotta listen to the whole lot. Blacker the Berry
Yeah.
is just probably the best hip hop song of all time.
Banger.
It's, you just listen to that and you're like, oh, Kenny's angry. He's an angry boy. The biggest hypocrite of 2015.
Like,
Once I finish this witness, it will convey just what I mean.
But yeah, they just like get through that whole album, then you get to Mortal Man at the end, and you're like,
and it just ends with that like
pop.
It ends with Tupac,
Pop.
and you're like,
It's like pop.
can you imagine what it was like to hear that for the first time when you're just like listening to the album, then you get to the end, and then it turns out that he's been reading you a poem to Tupac, and then you're like, it's like seeing what Luke's father, like Darth Vader's Luke's dad for the first time.
I remember the first time I listened to it because I was like, I'm shooketh.
Kenny has shooken me. Actually, it's kind of funny. I don't know if you have listened to it, though I highly doubt it, just because we've been very album-intensive this year. You'd probably get a real kick out of Damn just because it's of the ilk of the other rap albums that you like.
Yeah.
Like Illmatic.
You know, it's just full of bangers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's only one song on Damn. Like, it's such a meme that's like, you gave Damn a 7? I gave Damn a 7. I still probably liked it more than Anthony did. But there's like one song on that album where I'm like, not too crazy. I think it's Fear. But like, every song on the album is still pretty good. Not even close to being the best hip-hop album this year, though. Not even close.
Go to that boy Big Crit.
Big Crit is my pick.
Go to Lil Peep.
He goes to Lil Peep.
Rip and Peep.
Lil Uzi Vert. I hate Lil Uzi Vert.
You know Lil Peep died, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure that didn't go.
No. I saw Anthony tweet about it. But, you know, hip-hop is a weird thing just because we're so white.
Yeah.
Like, I can't relate to any of it other than Childish Gambino because, I mean, Donald Glover's, like, a white kid.
Yeah.
I mean, because the internet is about being, like, a rich middle-class kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I can't even relate to Eminem.
No, I can't either. Though, I will say, he's definitely up there. Marshall Mathers LP is definitely my top 10. Although, also hasn't aged well.
No.
Like,
no.
I deleted all of the skits off of that album just because it's like, And not to mention, again, still really like it. Still one of my favorites, but man, Eminem is... He's very whiny about a lot of the same things. Like, like there's 3 songs on that album that I just cannot remember because they're all the same thing. They're all about how people are dumb for taking him seriously. And, like, Criminal is the good one. And then there are, like, 3 songs just like it. And I'm like, I don't get why this isn't here, but alright. I actually kind of think the Marshall Mathers LP2 is a more solid listen. It's way more consistent.
Yeah.
Less memorable.
I know what you're saying. Like, I probably like the Slim Shady LP more.
That's like...
Like, it's aged way worse, but, like, I find that more...
It's a time capsule. Yeah. It's like American Beauty is time capsule of the 90s. I'm trying to think of, like, just... I mean, To Pimp a Butterfly is obviously just probably... In Good Kid, Mad City. I'm trying to, like... I've been in a debate as to whether or not T-Pab or Good Kid, Mad City is my favorite, just because... They're very similar albums, but they're very different, like, stylistically. Good Kid, Mad City is a little bit more 90s, and To Pimp a Butterfly is really, like, 70s. It's, like, jazz-infused.
Took me, like, a good 30 seconds to figure out what T-Pab was. And I was like,
T-Pab.
Oh, yeah. Ice-T.
And I only started listening to Section 80 recently because it's just, like, it's the Kendrick Lamar album that no one talks about. It's great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Also, The Chronic by Dr. Dre.
Oh, yeah. Dre's great.
Yeah.
In terms of this year, there's actually had a lot of really good ones. Flower Boy, Tyler the Creator, that's definitely a really good one. Everybody kind of forgot the new Joey Badass album.
Badass boy.
Oh, he is. If I actually kind of think Joey Badass's new album is like if Damn was really, really, really good instead of just really good. And then there's Jay-Z's new album, 444, and I've never liked Jay-Z, ever. Like, I think Magna Carta Holy Grail was, like, one of the most boring listens to any hip-hop album I've ever heard. He sounded like he was asleep and on codeine, which probably. Hell, I think Beyonce had a better album than most of Jay-Z's with Lemonade.
Yeah.
And then who else is there this year's? Big Crit's my pick, just because that album is, like, basically... It's actually a lot like To Pimp a Butterfly, actually. Just a bit more, less jazz, more boom bap. Subbenstein.
Bibbidi bappity boom.
Bibbidi bappity boom. I don't know why I'm like trying to wonder. I have all my albums on my phone. I'm not looking at it. I'm trying to think of other just artists in general. I'll say it's a tie between To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City for my favorite ever, I guess.
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, I don't have much else to add in the hip hop section.
Which is funny, just because I listen to way more than you. But it's like we still have about as much to say.
Kendrick.
It's because it's hard to connect again, because it's like we are suburban white boys from Kentucky.
There's just like a cultural divide.
Yeah, there's always going to be a like I think it's interesting hearing about like growing up in Compton and stuff. Like I love to. That's why fiction exists, so we can learn the experiences of other people. But I can't relate to it personally.
It's like I usually just listen to music for some kind of like connection.
Yeah, precisely.
I wouldn't say I'm like connected to any of the favorites I just named.
It took me a while, but I think I got there with To Pimp a Butterfly. It just again, it's a model. It's like The Godfather. It's just such a monolithic task to actually experience and take it all in. And I think that's pretty much it for me, hip hop wise. If I like find one on here that is also that I didn't mention, I guess I'll bring it up. But I just listen to mostly whatever Zach tells me. Aside from Hobson, Hobson sucks.
Yeah,
and so does most modern rappers.
Just the most
Future.
Just the most edgelord of the hip hops.
And Tyga.
Ew.
Dick. Don't like him.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, it's so disgusting. I can't do it.
Most unorthodox.
Oh my god. Oh, you've done it.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yes.
Flower boy.
So what should we do next?
I think we're gonna have to save prog rock, alt rock, and potentially punk and or metal for like last, because those are the ones we're gonna have to say a lot about.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriter. Jason Isbell.
Yeah.
Yours is a Southeastern, I'm guessing.
Well, I figured we would have lumped him in with country, but I think instead of covering country, we should cover singer-songwriter.
It also, in general, because we don't listen to country, we kind of established that, but also it's, because the Southeastern is only my second favorite, if you really count everything on my favorites. My favorite being Pure Comedy, Father John Misty.
Yeah. Yeah, Southeastern's like the best.
Nothing bad about it.
It's like heartbreaking and uplifting, and it's just has all the things that you want in music.
It's a 5.
Yeah.
It's a definite 5. I mean, there's just so many gut-punching, like, Elephant, Cover Me Up.
Relatively easy.
Like, all of those are just, like...
relatively easy.
Relatively Yeezus. I mean, I have listened to Kanye before, never been a fan.
Yeah, we notice how we didn't bring him up.
Yeah, pretty much. It's weird just because, it's hard to lump him in with country just because there's not really a subgenre for him anymore in modern country.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a singer-songwriter artist who happens to be from the South.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him in concert.
Mm-hmm. I've seen him 3 times now, and I'm seeing him another time next month.
He's also just a splendid human.
Yeah.
And
probably the funniest man alive.
Oh, and no, this is country, but we could talk about it, but Decoration Day.
Yeah, that's like a southern rock.
Yeah. Which I do like, but I just don't like any song on that album nearly as much as Decoration Day, just in general. Like, all the other songs are good, and I kind of, like, whenever Jason isn't, like, in the song prominently, I'm like, these guys just aren't as good. I feel spoiled.
The Dirty South is way better, just for the record.
Okay, I'll have to
give
it a listen.
The rest of those songs are, like, as good. I have that vinyl over there somewhere.
That's tasty.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it also just, it's personal for you.
Oh, definitely.
And me too, because, I mean, like, we grew up in what is considered the South, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'd consider it that anyway.
I mean, like...
We're only slightly above the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah. But that album got me through, like, the hardest times.
Morgan is relatively easy, the boy.
Mm-hmm. Dead boy.
Yes. It's just it's very it's just kind of demolishes all those stereotypes you've heard about country and southern music just in general.
Yeah.
It just shows what it's capable of, and it's like, y'all are just slacking.
Mm-hmm.
This is why people don't like this kind of music,
Yeah.
because we got people like Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah.
Gross.
And his third album, Something More Than Free, is almost as good.
Still need to pick it up.
His first album is kind of like, it's got some bangers.
What's it called?
Balls.
Bulls
by Jason Isbell.
That's a good title. Fire. Todd in the Shadows did a review, a one-hit wonderland for that recently. And I was just like, wow, I am kind of curious as to the crazy world of Arthur Brown.
Oh, that's a song. His first album is called Sirens of the Ditch, and it's got some bangers on there, but it's mostly just kind of throwaway. It's not, like, particularly
I can see
memorable.
this. I mean, like, of the Sins' first albums can compete, that's probably the least egregious.
Yeah. And his album this year, with 400 Unit,
Yes.
is fantastic. His other 400 Unit albums are not as memorable,
But good.
they also have some bangers. Especially Here We Rest, that is like chock full of bangers, but it has like 3 or 4 filler songs. But it's definitely worth checking out. Also worth mentioning in the singer-songwriter genre is Elliott Smith.
Ah, yes. Good old Elliott Smith.
Yeah, who you don't like.
No, I like him.
Sure.
It's just that one album. And I like that album. It's just not like, didn't change my life or nothing.
Yeah, but it did.
Not only did it change my life, but it changed yours too.
Yeah. Either or is like the best album ever. Also great, XO, Figure 8, and From a Basement on the Hill, even though technically that album's like unfinished because he died.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not as hot on a self-titled album or Roman Candle as a lot of people are.
Those will be the ones I like.
Those are still... but they're still really good. Because, Elliott Smith has like 2 bad songs.
I probably haven't even heard either of them, and I wouldn't care if they were bad. It'd be like, it's still good. It's fine.
Still a lot of bangers. I like Father John Misty a good bit.
I listen to I Love You Honey Bear and Pure Comedy quite frequently. I know Pure Comedy is a recent pick, but it's just like I've been listening to that album like weekly this entire year.
Frank Turner. For every good album he has, he makes kind of a bad one, but...
When you have positive songs for negative people, though, it's fine.
The guy wrote Love Iron Song, so like he gets a pass for life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is a 5, straight 5.
What about I know it's not like best of all time material.
Huh? Wait, just
Phoebe Bridger.
Oh, I'm going down the list.
Oh, okay.
Harry Styles' album was pretty good. He's not like a favorite or anything, but
yeah,
his
I
album
heard
this
good
year,
things.
Yeah. Jeff Buckley, obviously.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to lump him in, because if we're counting that as singer-songwriter specifically, then that is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. We could throw him in
it can be
alt rock, because that's probably like more along those lines. But
Grace is just a really versatile
yeah,
album.
I don't want to hold him back at all.
Nah.
Julian Baker, who like her album from this year, I can't find anywhere.
I can't either. I tried.
Killing me.
I can just listen to Sprained Ankle more though, because
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Phoebe Bridgers is probably like my favorite singer-songwriter of the decade.
Still listening to that too.
Yeah. Funeral.
Oh
it's
boy,
fine. It's fine.
It's called Funeral.
You're crying. It's fine.
Shut up. Your face is not acceptable.
I would be completely remiss if I did not mention Ryan Adams, because he has 5 albums that I give like from the 4 to 5 range.
That's pretty impressive. Like you can't lose there.
Like his first album, Heartbreaker, is really good, but it's definitely not the best one. Gold is probably the best one, and there's Love As Hell, Self-Titled, and Prisoner from this year.
Oh.
All of those are bangers. Straight bangers.
Sick.
Like, pretty much all of these albums don't have a song I dislike on them. I just give them, like, 4s to 4 out of 5. Like, 4 out of 5s to 5 out of 5s, just because I'm, like... Some of them aren't great songs, and I just have to admit that.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just like... Sometimes you don't even really have anything, like, complaints with an album. You just know it's not good enough to be rated any higher.
Yeah.
It's just kind of... That's it. I can't really find... Oh, Bon Iver.
Oh, yeah.
For Emma Forever Ago. That's up there.
I thought I saw Francis the Mute, and I got really excited.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Francis the Mute. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think that's actually... Yeah, it might be it. I think.
I'm looking through my Amazon Music right now. Well, Bruce Springsteen, obviously,
Yes.
because duh. And Chris Stapleton's really good.
I know it's not singer-songwriter, but you can kind of weave it in with everybody else with 59 Sound. You know, Gaslight Anthem.
Well, I mean that's a band.
Yeah, I know,
So-
but like just. Oh yeah, because well, I mean, it weaves in with the genre, like Springsteen and like of that stylistic ilk.
Well,
And Isbell.
Well, I mean it's a band.
Let's see, you're right. You're right.
City in Color. That's really good.
Who's that by?
That's the band.
Oh,
I mean, it's not a band. It's just one guy.
Oh, okay.
His name is Dallas Green.
Dallas.
He sings for this post-hardcore band called Alexis on Fire.
Ah.
They've been broken up for a few years now, but get it,
the new Roger Waters album. Is This the Life We Really Want? That's good too. If you like Pink Floyd, listen to that.
But get it, his name is Dallas Green, and his group is called City in Color. Because Dallas
and Green.
The album is called Sometimes, and it's like acoustic-y Elliott Smith kind of stuff, but like more emotive. And he's probably the best singer ever.
Okay.
It's like
better than Freddie and the lead singer of Amberlin?
No, but it's really close.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's more.
I feel like there's just one I'm distinctly forgetting.
Dustin Kensrue from Thrice. His first solo album was really good.
Shit, I should check that out then. Yeah. I'm quite a fan.
It's like if Johnny Cash didn't sing in baritone.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cash I guess definitely counts here. American 4. Yeah. American 4 is just one of the best albums in general.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Dylan for Nashville Skyline. I love that album. It's quite good.
Blood on the Tracks.
Blood on the Tracks, Nashville Skyline, and Pat Garrett and the... I don't remember what that album's called, but it's the one that Forever Young is on the first time, I think.
Yeah.
Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Really have a soft spot in my heart for Rick Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
no, it was Planet Waves I was thinking of. I'm stupid.
Sun Kill Moon, their first album, well, his first album was just one guy.
I need to check that out. You keep talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'd probably like that.
Ghosts of the Great Highway, I think that's Mark Kozelek.
Kozelek?
Yeah.
Who that boy?
Well, the only way you would know him is,
I got him.
You Miss My Heart on Stranger in the Alps. That's a Mark Kozelek song.
Oh! Huh. I almost forgot to mention Beck.
I'm gonna feel like a freaking idiot if Sun Kill Moon...
Sea Change and Morning Phase are
I
great.
feel like an idiot if Sun Kill Moon's not Mark Kozelek. Okay, it is. Thank God.
You got it.
Okay.
You done it.
Yeah, Ghost of the Great Highway is a fantastic album. I think that about wraps it up for me in this area.
I'm pretty sure I'm good. So then what should we move on to afterwards?
That's a good question.
Just like...
Also, I guess we're not going in depth on any of these, which is kind of surprising. We're just going
yeah.
Kind of like carpet bombing. Just going through all
pretty much.
Iraq.
I mean, if you want to talk about one of them, that's fine. But I mean, I don't know.
I'm just not good at going in depth,
Well, music is such
spur of the moment.
Yeah, music is such a hard to describe thing. You can only really recommend it. It's the hardest thing to critique ever.
And I mean, I guess if I just if there were people I knew that made a podcast like this,
Stupid.
I'd be fine with just them giving recommendations and talking briefly about them.
Really. I mean, that's... You gotta know our taste, too.
Yeah, you forgot Leonard Cohen.
I was gonna say we forgot Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
We're stupid. You Want It Darker is awesome.
Yep.
And...
Songs of Leonard Cohen, songs of love and hate. He's good. He's
yeah,
alright.
He's a good boy.
He's an alright boy.
He's a good boy. Let's see if I can, genres.
Should
Should we do electronic, experimental, ambient kind of shit?
I guess I don't really have much to say there. I don't.
Kid A. Said Kid A. It wins.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other just Radiohead in general just kind of dips in and out of that and alt rock, more electronic, but still. Let me see what I've got here. If I can experimental.
I don't know. Experimental is so broad. I don't have a
well, there's
favorite.
also electronic and oh wow, I didn't know that. Bjork's album Homogenic, I really, really like.
I can't get into Bjork.
She's super weird. I don't blame you.
And the spiders crawl out my eyes. I throw them off the cliff.
You'd still really like Dancer in the Dark.
The Von Trier movie?
Mm-hmm. One of his tolerable ones.
Well, I mean, I hear it's freaking crushing, so...
Oh my god, yeah.
Hard pass.
Horrible.
Hard pass.
Yeah, it's not like he makes happy movies.
Yeah, what?
When the most uplifting of your films is Breaking the Waves, Al.
And like your second most uplifting is literally called Melancholia.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add here.
Yeah, it's an odd genre. I'm trying to think. I listened to a lot of the chiptune band Anamanaguchi. They did the soundtrack for the Scott Pilgrim the Scott Pilgrim movie Endgame. And they're very good. They had an LP, or actually no, it was a single and another song. I think it was called My Skateboard Will Go On. It's just listening to really good. Like, I just wish every retro game ever had a soundtrack that was made by them because it's all awesome. But Depeche Mode.
Yeah, they're definitely like electronic.
Yeah,
so,
Violator.
Yeah, Violator obviously is like one of the best albums of all time.
I'm trying to pick between Kid A and Violator. It's really hard. I'm gonna go Violator just for personal Jesus.
Kid A's in my top 10, so you know.
Yeah, I mean Jake and Morgan are Radiohead boys.
Songs of Faith and Devotion is probably my favorite Depeche Mode album.
I have not listened to it. I've only listened to Violator. I'm bad. I know I'm bad.
Yeah.
I
Music for the Masses is also great. Ultra is also like more industrial, so it's like really good.
Hey, I think we found our next genre.
Industrial?
It's not that hard because I can think of two. It's Chelsea Wolfe and Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, and Chelsea Wolfe like swings in and out, so
she's like often. Sometimes doom metal, sometimes like blues rock, sometimes like I don't even know what Apocalypsis is.
Basically, she does whatever she wants, and it's awesome.
Gothic.
Yeah,
it's gothic.
Yeah. There's this band called Youth Code that I discovered pretty recently that are like electronic industrial, and they're pretty rad.
Well, I mean, I think our number one for this genre is unquestionably both going to be the Downward Spiral.
Yeah.
Because what can compete with that?
The Fragile.
That's true.
Yeah.
It comes close, but I don't know. I feel like the final third of the Downward Spiral is just intoxicating.
I can't listen to that very
it's
often.
really hard.
Just I get past the racer and I get into Reptile and I'm like, I want to die.
Was you in Justice League?
Please.
Might as well have Trent Reznor up at the stage just playing it. It's like the one funny line he actually had.
It's weird that Hurt is like way more palatable than Reptile.
Oh god, Reptile's weird. I love it.
It's literally just machine noise and Trent Reznor going, like it's still really good.
Well, I mean, like every Nine Inch Nails album has like their benefits. Hesitation Marks is good. The Fragile is good. Year Zero, I think, is criminally underrated. I'm forgetting one. Well, their EP Still is great. That's like if I could count that as an album, it would be like my second favorite.
The Slip is like the only one that is like
it's all right. Yeah. It just kind of sounds It sounds
it's
the
not
most
particularly
like,
distinct, you know.
No, it sounds the most like Pretty Hate Machine,
yeah.
which I'm also lukewarm on.
Yeah, that's like a solid 4 out of 5.
I think I'd say it's like a 3.5, 4. Yeah, that's fair. Like every song in that album just kind of sounds like a song that Trent did better in another album. Like one of them sounds just like Closer, except with like synth. So it's like no.
It's like, you listen to Depeche Mode, Trent.
Do you like them, Trent?
And then that's funny because it's like Ultra is like, you listen to Nine Inch Nails, Dave Gahan. Well done.
And I think Chelsea Wolfe is interesting just because she's one of like only people I could classify being that, and I think like I'd say she's industrial mainly because of His Spun, Abyss, and parts of Pain is Beauty.
Well, I wouldn't really say like Hispun is industrial.
That's true.
I think it's probably like the least industrial out of like.
It more heavily leans into doom metal than
Yeah.
anything else. And we should probably get specific with just subgenres too, because they're important. Like,
Might as well.
I mean, like, especially with metal, it's like black metal and progressive metal, or
like,
you couldn't get two different kinds of
like
music.
Metallica and Darkthrone are both metal, but
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of industrial, you just don't really have a lot of options, but the
Yeah.
ones that I do like that do that music,
yeah, I've heard Skinny Puppy is really good.
Skinny Puppy.
Skinny Puppy.
Let me see if I have any, like, just sitting on here that I'm just completely forgetting. Where is the industrial? Oh my god, I can't read. H-I, industrial.
Please learn how to read,
Let's see.
son.
9 Inch Nails, 9 Inch Nails, 9 Inch Nails, 9 Inch Nails. It's literally all 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. I mean, there's just not a lot to pick from there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we talked about Chelsea Wolfe. We could go into metal and or specifically doom metal. Like, my pick for that is so incredibly easy.
Well, I mean, it's Meliora, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Ghost.
I'm not really sure how much I consider Ghost even doom metal, but that's mainly just because I don't know what else to call them. Because like
They're very theatrical to the point where it's like almost its own subgenre. Like Meliora has songs that are they're genuinely like, whoa, this is some shit. But then there are other ones that just kind of sound like a spooky Halloween thing, and it's like, I like that.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Oh, Spirit. The opening of Spirit,
Yeah.
and like, ooh, get like the theremin.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I like this.
But yeah, you listen. I've been listening to Paul Bearer pretty heavily recently.
Paul Bearer sounds
Yeah,
cheery.
They're straight doom metal, and they don't sound anything like Ghost, so I don't know what to say. Like if we're talking like straight up doom metal, like with no messing around and stuff, probably Heartless by Paul Bearer is my favorite, which came out this year, which is
wow,
like top 2 probably metal albums for the year.
By the way, and not to backtrack or anything, but I just realized that we are all so stupid for not mentioning Nick Cave earlier.
I'm not crazy about Nick Cave, but
Really?
That's not his fault.
Have you listened to The Lyre of Orpheus?
No.
Should. It's good. It's the one with children is on.
Well, I mean, there's just a lot of him.
That's true.
I don't know where to start.
I mean, A Skeleton Tree was my first album of his, so it was just like...
So I was like, oh, this isn't palatable.
Yeah, I'd say all of Ghost's albums are terrific. All 3 of them, but...
Like, Opus Eponymous is definitely, the most doom metal.
Mm-hmm. And that's because it's, it's a bit more grungy. The production's a lot less clean than Infestissimum. Which is a grower, but I like that one.
Yeah. It's a good 4 out of 5.
Yeah. And then Meliora is just 4.5 or 5 easily, and then it grows on you, and you're 7. I love it.
10.
I deeply, deeply love it. There it is.
Tastes like herbs.
We had Italian.
Yeah. What metal do you want to get into next?
Let's do one that you're not super familiar with, because then I get to talk about a little bit more black metal. Because I know you're not huge into it. I'm not either.
And by not huge, he means not fond.
Yeah, I mean, let me see.
It's just, I need hooks. And there are none.
All of the black metal albums that I like are it's black metal, but... And then it does something else.
Yeah, that's why you should listen to Death Heaven. Because it's
yeah. Shoegaze.
Black metal, but... way more shoegaze. So that's the only thing I have to talk about. Sunbather is my favorite, and quote unquote black metal album.
And for me, that's along those same lines as I'll say ALS ALSCEST. But it's one French guy.
Silly French.
And I'd say my favorite of that would probably be Kodama, his most recent album. But that's the thing, is when I went and checked out all of them, I was like, nope, all these are really good. Even his debut album I thought was incredibly strong. It's French. It's I don't remember what it's called. Got a great album cover though. Obviously, they don't even really technically consider themselves black metal, but they call it pagan metal, but it's a Moon Sorrow.
Pagan metal.
And, yeah.
That's pretentious.
Yeah, a little bit. if they made bad music, then I would be less inclined. But they make good music. They Moonsorrow is I think they're Swedish, and they have a black metal band, and that was probably the first couple ones I actually listened to. And I have all their albums now. Jumalten Eike was their most recent. Definitely dug that.
That's a silly name.
It is. And then there's Verisakit. And they have a EP called Tulinurski, and they cover For Whom the Bell Tolls, and it's awesome because when the chorus like kicks in at the end, instead of have somebody saying like just one guy being like For Whom the Bell Tolls, it's like a choir of Vikings, and they're just like For Whom the Bell Tolls, and it's like, whoa, this is cool.
Like I pooped
did the tiny bit. Why? Orchid's not black metal phone.
No, it's not.
Should we just make this an Opeth podcast now? We're getting there.
How much time do you have?
Well, technically, they're your favorite band, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in my top 5. Opeth is just going to be prog metal, I guess. Bless you.
Bless you, Father. Progressive death metal.
Mm-hmm.
I figure we'll get there once we get into death metal.
Okay, well, we can talk about death metal.
Well, is there anything else you want to cover? Because we'll probably be there a while.
Okay, well, let's do a couple other things. I'll throw out just a random one to quickly depart from metal, just to go on a slight tangent and just go for art rock and just be like all of David Bowie.
Yeah.
Every single album.
Low.
Low is great. That's actually a little industrial in and of itself. That and it's the one the motel is on, and I can't ever outside. That's it. And reality has flying, but other than that, I guess it's not. But anyway, David Bowie is my favorite musician, and if he is in a genre, he's my favorite. Just find one.
Mm-hmm.
So other kinds of metal. Why don't you pick?
Thrash metal, which
Melodica.
You know, I play in a thrash metal band, and it's still a genre I'm not really huge on.
It's funny. You're good though. I mean,
yeah. I only recently got into Megadeth after like trashing them for years.
Me too. We both listened to Rust in Peace, and that's up there in terms of my favorite metal albums.
Peace Sells, I think, is better than Rust in Peace, but
oh hell, I gotta check that out then.
The vocals are like way better. It's less, less Dave Mustaine and more,
Dave Mustaine.
Oh, shut up. It's like spelling Megadeth like Megadeath. Like, stop it. Stop that.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Slayer, Rain in Blood, and Hell Awaits. I haven't gotten into Anthrax, but that's not the band's fault. That's just me being lazy.
That's true.
Testament is really good. Their album Practice What You Preach is like straight banger. Straight banger.
I really wish I liked that Vector album more. I mean, I like it, but it's just such good thrash metal, and the vocals happen, and I'm like, you ruined it.
And, there's obviously Metallica, which is like uncontested.
Pick one.
Yeah.
And my favorite Metallica album is Ride the Lightning. Yours is Injustice for All.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And they were what got me into it. Thrash metal is just something I don't really listen to that much at all.
It's just...
What does Deftones fall under? Alt metal?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I put them in with prog metal sometimes, but...
It depends. Like, White Pony? Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. And definitely, like, the self-title is in that area.
And, Koi no Hyokan has a couple cuts on there.
Yeah. They're more, like, elaborate. Here's a question. Why do you call Saturday Night Wrist?
What do you call it?
Yeah. Like, in genre.
Oh, gosh. Shoegaze? Right? It's shoegaze metal, like, I kind of think.
Like, pop music, but, like,
heavy.
Played, like, through shoegaze, and also, like, with a lot of, like, metal stylings. Like, I don't know, man.
It's hard to classify.
It's a really weird album.
I mean, hell, White Pony is also, like, industrial in places. Like, I was just like, man, you guys listen to a lot of Nine Inch Nails, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Which, good. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. more people that listen to Nine Inch Nails, the better.
Absolutely. What other metals are there? Go for it, boy. Or are we just gonna have to jump headfirst into death metal and talk about Opeth for 7 hours?
Death and prog. Should we do death before we do prog?
Let's do death.
Yeah.
It's a sentence I say often.
Yeah, let's do death and then just jump right into talking about death.
Hey!
Yeah, Sound of Perseverance is basically a prog metal album with death metal vocals. But
it's like grungy.
Like one of the best metal albums, like through any subgenre.
As is Symbolic.
Yeah. Symbolic is probably just the best metal album, like ever.
Probably. There's never a point where I ever get bored with death. I'll just listen to them and be like, yeah!
I definitely prefer Sound of Perseverance, but between Symbolic and Sound of Perseverance, I think that really just comes down to personal taste.
I mean, they're legitimately as good as each other, so I like it. It's just whatever.
Yeah. Death metal is kind of like hard for me to get into because sometimes it's like, all right, you people seriously need to chill.
Calm down, guys.
The first Entombed album is one of those.
Entombed, that's quite the name.
Sometimes I'm like really in the mood for it.
Oh, so, okay.
I don't know. It's hard to classify that one in my brain.
I can see why.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a genre I'm like crazy about, just because.
Just a couple artists you like just kind of haphazardly fall into that category.
And like, I just feel like a lot of the time, they end up trying too much to be like really brutal, to like bother with musicianship.
Sometimes they just kind of overstep the edginess. Like, I get the point of metal is supposed to be, but it's like you can go too far.
It's like maybe like try to work on your musicianship.
Yeah, really. It's like people can get away with that, but that's if you build up goodwill because you make good music first.
Yeah. So yeah, Opeth.
Oh boy, here we go. This is Morgan. Morgan and I went on an odyssey this year. We both just listened to every Opeth album in like 2 months, like on repeat, all of them, even the bad ones.
Yeah.
And man, where do I even start? Like I listened to Blackwater Park at your recommendation, and I liked it, and I just kind of didn't look into them afterwards, and then you did, and I was like, all right, I'm going to tag along with this. And then the first one I listened to was Damnation, and I was just like...
It's so good.
I love it.
So, might as well start at the beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
So, like, Orchid, their debut album, as I consider it to be one of the best debut metal albums. Like,
you compare it a lot to Iron Maiden.
Yeah. It's like Iron Maiden, but with, the lead singer of Death on vocals.
Yeah.
And it's so dope.
It's brutal.
Yeah. It gets compared to black metal sometimes, but that's really just mainly for the production quality.
And Mikhail's voice.
Yeah. And that's like a really good album. There's really only like 1 or 2 songs on there where I'm like, alright, this is kind of boring.
It's honestly just because the rest of the band sets your standards so high.
Yeah.
Like every song that would be like a 7 out of 10 turns into a 5.
Yeah. And then there's Morning Rise, which is like practically a black metal album.
Mm-hmm. That has their first super long one on it, doesn't it? Isn't it like...
Yeah, Black Rose Immortal.
Yeah,
it's 20 minutes long. And it's still their longest song.
Jake and Morgan like their long songs.
Yeah. Long boys.
Cute.
I didn't even think of that, man. Yeah. That album is 5 songs long. And is an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. To be fair, all prog rock albums are super long.
Like, really, the only point in that album where it isn't absolutely brutal is the last song, which is like the first kind of chill Opeth song, which is funny.
My Arms, Your Hearse? Is that what's next?
After that album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the best one.
That's tied for my favorite with Damnation.
It's really close.
I don't know why, but I feel like... I don't know, everything, like, when I think of what the quintessential one is, for me, it's not Blackwater Park, it's that one. Because it's such a refined and specific and personal thing. Like, Blackwater Park is like, like Lord of the Rings, and My Arms, Your Hearse is like Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
You can compare them, they're just different types of, like, they're different types of masterpieces, and I just prefer the one with a bit more personal of a touch.
Yeah, and the only reason I don't have a whole lot to say about My Arms Your Hers, other than like
It speaks for itself.
it's a perfect album, and it's like one of the best concept albums, and the lyrics and performances are fantastic. It's all just performed to like the peak. It's just that Still Life is like right after that.
Mm-hmm. That's your favorite, right?
And it's also a concept album, and it's also like the best album ever. So
That's the thing with Opeth is that like you can totally listen to all of those albums and have no idea what the lyrics are.
yeah,
It does not matter. It is so good at conveying its ideas. I mean, like that's what I did. Is like I would like look up the lyrics as I listened because after I listened to some of the lyrics in Damnation, where you can actually hear them, it's like, oh, this is actually definitely worth it.
yeah. It's like, oh, I mean, I kind of like that too, honestly, because it's like another part of it that you just discover later.
It's me with I'll say it's the same thing because it's all French.
Sorry.
Boy.
It's almost midnight. Cool.
Holy crap. Not even that, too. Weird.
Yeah, after, literally stupid.
Still Life.
My Arms Your Hearse, after My Arms Your Hearse is Still Life, and that's just the perfect album. That's like the benchmark for perfect.
Agreed. I wish I liked that album as much as I did Blackwater Park, but that's like, if you throw those two up there in front of me, I pick Blackwater Park, but...
Well, I mean, they're like very much two sides of the same coin.
It's kind of a Damnation Deliverance kind of thing.
Yeah. They're like extraordinarily comparable.
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind, it's just like, just because I don't like one album more than the other, it's like, all of the good Opeth albums for me have earned at least a 4 out of 5. At least.
Yeah, then there's Blackwater Park, which is like, you know...
The highest rated, most critically acclaimed prog metal album of all time.
Just, that monolithic masterpiece that's like,
Steven Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote it.
He produced it.
He produced it, and he was heavily involved with the recording, and he played a few instruments on a lot of it. And, that's the one that feels the most impersonal of the ones that I love.
Blackwater Park?
Yeah.
I get that.
It's also the one that I would probably listen to the most.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I just, like, whenever I hit, like, Shuffle and Dirt for November pops up, I'm just like, alright, strap in.
It's like, alright, that's 10 minutes now.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah.
Submit. That's me whenever I listen to Ghost Reveries and Baying of the Hound starts, and I'm like, alright, I'm in. 17 minutes, let's go.
Yeah, the Baying of the Hound. I'm like, you're up, bro. Let's go.
The Moor.
Oh yeah, I forgot when we were on Still Life. The Moor is my favorite Opeth song.
It's a good song.
And it's probably the best album opener.
Ever. It's you know what you're getting into. Like, when you start there, you're like, oh. It's like when you listen to the Black Dahlia Murder, and you're like, oh.
It's just like 5 minutes of build up, and then by the end of that 5 minutes, you're just like, oh my god! This is a freaking banger!
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that hurt now.
It's great because they have bangers, but all of them are, like, so well performed. They are still totally beautiful.
I've been playing guitar for, like, 6 years, and I've looked at tabs for many Opeth songs. The only one I know is Harvest.
It's probably the easiest one.
I can't play any of them.
Because it's so hard.
Oh, I'm stupid. I know, like, half of Damnation, but...
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
It's just because Damnation is straight up prog.
Yeah. And, but after Blackwater Park is Deliverance, which is the single most underrated Opeth album, and I will fight anyone who does not like it.
I don't like it as much as the other, like, god-tier Opeth albums, but I completely understand that sentiment, because it's just, like, if you're just like, alright, I listen to Blackwater Park, but I want to hear their heaviest thing.
I want to get sad and angry.
I want to get sad.
You just listen to Deliverance, and you're like,
oh, it was painful. And that album, like, 6 songs long.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I
listened to that in biology. Not boring anymore.
It also, has the best instrumental interlude in, stupid. What is it called? I should know this!
The favorite bee.
I just want to say freaking, that other one.
Baying of the Hound.
It's not I just wanted to say Patterns in the Ivy, but that's Blackwater Park. Oh, it's for Absent Friends. That's just gorgeous. And
always
it's like
the best.
Only one that I can hum off the top of my head. And then on the same side of that deliverancy coin
Is Damnation.
is Damnation, which is like the clean one, you know, the straight prog rock.
If you want to get sad,
Mm-hmm.
this is your album.
And it's straight up a masterpiece. Not one bad song. Every note is where it should be. The production is beyond incredible.
And it sounds like Akira Yamaoka if he did progressive rock, which you've won. You've done it. Actually, and though isn't Ghost Reveries after that?
Yeah.
That's my pick for the most underrated Opeth album, personally, because Ghost Reveries just strikes a chord with me.
Well, yeah, but people love Ghost Reveries.
Really?
I had that at like number 8 on my ranking list, and people
and I'm sure people
were like, ugh! And I was like, all right.
That's like my deliverance.
That's just like 4 out of 5 the album for me. That is like the personification of it.
I think I either gave it 4 or 4.5.
I just really don't like Reverie and Harlequin Forest.
It's fine. That's the only song on there where I'm like, it's alright.
Like, I like Grand Conjuration more, and that song's just way too long.
Mm-hmm. And it's the most bloated of their albums.
Like, Hours of Wealth and Isolation Years, I just cannot make myself remember what they sound like. But, like, Ghost of Perdition, The Bang of the Hounds, Beneath the Mire, Atonement, and The Grand Conjuration are, just such bangers, bruh. Like, Ghost of Perdition is, like, the Opeth song.
It's, like, quintessential Opeth.
Yeah.
And then Watershed, yeah?
Watershed is, like, the transition into prog.
But still good, unlike when they got to prog.
Yeah. And I would say that is the most underrated Opeth album. But, like, people are like, this is like a 4 out of 5 instead of a 5.
Yeah.
And some people just straight up hate Deliverance, so.
Dumb.
They're stupid. And
like, Watershed is good. Like, I just. That's kind of like the.
It's like weird.
You were with Ghost Reveries, is some songs I'm just like, I do not remember how they sound.
Yeah. It's like weirdly inaccessible in places too. Like, this is just kind of like.
It sounds very different from what came before. And it doesn't even sound really that similar to what came after either. It's just kind of like Watershed's a good title because it's just like, it's all these different sounds.
It's like, well, this is a place that you're in, and it's cool, but, you know.
It's just not as cool as before.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're complaining about an album that is, by all means, like, just a hair short of a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Watershed, that's their last album that they ever recorded. Let's wrap this up.
Can we just talk about all 3 of them in one sweep?
Heritage, Pale Communion, and Sorceress might as well all be the same album.
Because they all sound the same, they're all boring.
They are such samey, boring 70s prog rock rip-off crap, and I hate them.
It is like, it honestly does sound like everything from King Crimson's worst album, except King Crimson's worst album is way more interesting to listen to because of how bad it is. I was just bored with every single song on all 3 of those albums.
I'll give Sorceress a little more credit, because I really like Will-O-the-Wisp and one of them other songs, The Wildflowers.
Will-O-the-Wisp is probably the only song from all 3 of those albums where I even remember what it's called.
Even still, both of those songs are way longer than they needed to be.
Bloated. That's the key word there.
Yeah.
The album was half as long. I'd kind of like it, in fact.
Yeah, they're not great. That's about really all the metal that we have to cover, don't you think?
Oh,
we're freaking retarded. Talking about doom metal and we didn't talk about Black Sabbath. It's the best doom metal band. That's
we win.
That's like the best metal band.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna argue, you can be wrong. It's fine.
It's like albums 1 through 4 are just like, this is really good, so we're gonna go home now.
Should we just do straight metal now? Just like, and then branch off in case we need to think of anything more specific? Like, new metal's not big enough of a genre for me. It's like, it's just Slipknot.
You know, it mostly sucks.
Yeah, it's just Slipknot. That is it.
So, like, metal and metalcore, like, I'm only, like, loosely a fan of. Like, I like the occasional Trivium album. Mm-hmm. And I like really, like, all of Every Time I Die albums. Except the first one, which is just
Maiden
a mess. Maiden is, like, power metal.
I like Maiden, too.
Yeah. Power Slave and, like,
awesome.
Somewhere in Time. Straight bangers.
And,
yeah, Maiden's, like, really good. Like, their first, like, 6 albums are, like, all flawless.
The best.
Like, I almost really don't even have to say much about them.
Gojira.
Oh, yeah. We forgot about them when we were talking about death metal. We're dumb.
Damn it. I don't know, they can be...
Well, I mean,
they're flexible.
That goes into prog metal. Which is funny, because they, like, never solo. It's just that the time signatures are really weird sometimes.
That's true. I mean, The Way of All Flesh is just like there's a lot of songs on there where I'm like, this is really odd sounding.
Yeah.
I like it,
I mean, like,
but it's odd.
Like Toxic Garbage Island's my favorite Gojira song, and like, like, what are you doing? Like, sir, please stop sodomizing that guitar. Yeah,
It's
that,
pretty hate machine metal. iTunes, you're drunk. It's not even close.
yeah. Notice how we didn't talk about Tool when we were talking about prog metal.
For a reason. 7.5 out of 10 band.
Yep.
Well, there's I guess, I mean, it's more of a subgenre, but Deftones.
Deftones are just like, it's like, what genre are Deftones? Deftones. That's what genre they are.
I mean, my favorite's White Pony, and then followed. There's a big bet. Like, I love the rest of what I've listened to. It's just that there's a vast gap because I just really, really like White Pony, and it sounds pretty much nothing like the rest of the stuff they've done, other than like it's heavy and weird in places.
It's a lot like Still Life in Blackwater Park from where I'm sitting from, with like White Pony and their self-titled album. It's like one of those is, not as good. It just depends on where you're sitting.
And Koi no Yokan is good.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday Night Wrist is good, except for like one song.
Just like
in Pink Cell Phones. What are they thinking, man?
I don't. A lot of drugs.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah, my favorite Deftones album is Diamond Eyes, which is
great album.
Flawless.
It is quite good.
Diamond Eyes, and then damn, it's hard.
It's really hard. I don't know. I'm like literally looking at all of my.
I'm stupid. I'm just gonna look at all of them. It's probably just White Pony because I'm basic.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So like then White Pony, and then Around the Fur, and then I really like Gore, their album from last year.
I haven't listened.
That's really high up there. It's like kind of new wavy, which is like
I'd get into it.
The worst song is like the first single they dropped from it and the first song in the album, so it like sets you up for a really weird impression.
Okay, well, and
that's why people
power through it then.
That's why it's like the lowest rated album of theirs on Sputnik, which I find really weird.
Yeah, I kind of have like 3.2.
Yeah, and then like I just kind of lump Adrenaline, Koi no Yokon, and Saturday Night Wrist in the same area, where it's like
because they're all
these
like,
are really great albums.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
Yep.
And probably their worst album is the self-titled one, even though I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like it's just White Pony. It's just like the
cool.
same.
I'll probably dig it.
I mean, it was made like the year after that.
I'm surprised it took me this long to realize it, because they are likely now what I would probably consider to be my favorite metal band, but Motorhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't make bad albums.
Yeah, they invented thrash metal, so.
And it's so hard to pick a favorite because like every song on Ace of Spades is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like really only into Ace of Spades just through my own efforts. Like, I haven't really dug deep.
If you need recommendations, you go to me, because I
Yeah.
have listened to, I think the one I liked the least was Sacrifice, which is still a really good album. But there's Ace of Spades, which is great, and the second...
Tickle his foot. Because I'm gay.
The two I put up with Ace of Spades is Yellow.
Oh, we got blankets and stuff.
Blankets. Oh, gee.
You can take that. You just throw it at me.
Just crush you underneath. Smothered your child.
Oh, look up.
He's
It drops on you.
dead.
Oh, no.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was a chip clip.
Oh, I thought it was like your glasses or something. It's like,
I
no.
drop my glasses all the time. It's fine.
Here, give me
My
the...
glasses.
My glasses. I can't see without my glasses. I'm gonna go get a Mountain Dew nut. You know,
I think you got one over there.
it's empty.
Oh, okay.
I
Of course.
drank it.
Dr. Drang.
That's the one. That's the guy.
I'm going to. Okay. I got nothing to do with that.
Do you want anything?
I'm gonna remember to edit that pause out, otherwise it's just gonna be nothing for like a minute. Yeah. It probably won't. Nope. Probably won't. Long million. So we return. You probably. I'll try just because that was too long of a break. But we were talking about Motorhead.
Yeah.
And I was saying.
You were talking about
yes.
Motorhead.
I was saying the albums that I put up with Ace of Spades as being their best and my favorites. Orgasmatron is very close. I love that one. That one's the most progressive metal they have. It's like progressive and speed metal. That's the one thing I like about Motorhead too. Is just they're every subgenre of metal.
Yeah.
You'll find, except for Death. Like, that's it. Death and Black, but same kind of.
Blake.
But it's that is which one is that? I have so many like artists that have albums that have years as their name. It's like, and it's not.
1984.
I mean, yeah,
George
It is
Orwell.
1916.
George Orwell.
Yeah, 1916 is also very proggy, as well as another. Let me just look at the artist page. I'm stupid. I'm good. It's fine. We're all fine.
I feel like I should say something.
I mean, you've not just listened to a lot of it.
The Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades.
Another Perfect Day. That one's also great. Hell, their last album, Bad Magic, was quite good. Iron Fist, also great. Not the Netflix show. Definitely not the Netflix show.
No.
And Inferno, also really awesome. Motorizer, Kiss of Death. Like, honestly, it's like they literally just made nothing but 4s, 4.5s, and 5s. That's it. And it's just, they're so... That's the Metal Game band that gets me pumped the most, because I just listen to that and I'm like, yeah.
That's like some workout music right there.
I don't remember what song it is, but it's the one on Ace of Spades that starts with Western Movies. I think Shoot 'Em in the Back. Is that it?
I don't know.
It's awesome. And just Lemmy's voice. That meth-taken, crazy hooligan of a man. How did he live
I miss him
this
though.
long? I know, right? He was like, have you ever seen any of the interactions the Motorhead members have had with, like, just in interviews and stuff?
Yeah.
Half of it is Lemmy just telling him to shut up and leave.
Shut up!
It's like Slipknot and Corey Taylor, but without, like, the irony. Humor, like, you can tell they're friends, but everyone in Motorhead just looks like they want to kill each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're my, like, quintessential metal band. I think they're my Metallica.
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 We did it.
Are we missing any album, boys?
I don't know. I think we talked about metal for long enough.
Oh,
anyway.
well, I will say another in the vein of bands like Moonsorrow and Opeth is Insomnium. They are symphonic death metal, which normally I find sinfully boring. Just symphonic metal in general is just so bland. But they're just like, here's Winter's Gate. It's like, oh, this is quite good actually. You've all been doing it wrong. Yes, I think that's it in terms of that. Are we just gonna have to head into the two that are gonna take the most time now? Alt and Prog.
Yeah.
Which first?
Probably alt, because that'll be shorter.
Yeah, you're right. Alt. Brand new. Everything made by Brand New. Every single album. All of them.
Which is a little uncomfortable to talk about.
Yeah, because of the Jesse Lacey thing.
Yeah, turns out he's a douche.
But, it's just... you can't undo what those albums have done for us at the end of the day.
No.
And I mean, Science Fiction just is tied for my favorite album. Still is. Probably won't ever not be. That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
I have a confession to make.
what?
I lowered that down to a 4.5.
Really? How come?
I just, I really sat down and thought about it, and at the end of the day, I just really don't like, In the Water or Waste.
Really, I love Waste. In the Water, I can understand, but it was, I mean, it's not like Brand New is an accessible band. You can't recommend them to people. Unless it's just like, have you been depressed to the point where you want to actually die? Here, listen to them instead. They sort of go in and out in genres. I mean, your favorite weapon is punk. It's mostly just punk.
Pop punk.
It's good. Real good. And then Deja is pretty straight up alt.
Alt rock to emo.
And Devlin God is a bit more of the emo, but also the alt rock. And Science Fiction, what do you even like? What? And Daisy is
Insanity. The music genre.
Yeah, those are fun albums. You're gonna like them. But alternate rack. I guess Radiohead kind of counts.
Definitely like the Bends and OK Computer and stuff.
Yeah, OK Computer is in my top 5. I'm like, apparently everybody loves Kid A and OK Computer, but apparently Kid A just sort of inches out as being the Radiohead fan favorite. I kind of like In Rainbows just a tiny bit more, I'll confess. I mean, Kid A is better, but I like In Rainbows more. That's good.
A fart in your general direction.
My father smelled of elderberries.
Mother was a hamster.
Yes, of course. I don't know what noise that was.
In the grunge area of alt rock, I really like a Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and Alice in Chains.
Soundgarden, yes.
They're all real good. 10 by Pearl Jam is just one of the best rock albums ever. Period.
Placebo. Placebo is definitely up there. Sleeping with Ghosts is just. Oh boy, I gotta be in a mood to watch. Gotta be in a mood to listen to that. That has this the final 3 songs of Sleeping with Ghosts are just, they destroy me. Centerfolds is a song that just even thinking about it makes me emotional.
Also, when we're talking about Placebo, Loud Like Love, one of the most underrated albums ever.
I need to listen to it. The only reason I haven't is because you said it was kind of a mixed bag. I know that Bosco is from it, which is my favorite Placebo song in general.
It's a real grower.
I can get that, but I mean, all of them were with me. I like Without You I'm Nothing a lot, and I really, really like Meds. Meds actually kind of sounds like Radiohead.
It does,
weird and electronic in places, like Follow the Cops Back Home.
Infrared.
Yeah.
Infrared is a serious contender for my favorite Placebo song.
It's up there.
It's just such a banger.
Wing,
Space Monkey is straight up industrial.
Yeah. I kind of forget that that's a song.
Yeah.
And Bosco is just your life is ruined, the song. You're dead.
But A Song to Say Goodbye is probably my favorite.
Song to Say Goodbye is
Placebo song.
Fantastic. Sleeping with Ghosts, the song is also great. Second Sight, Centerfolds, and I like English Summer Rain. I just like all of it. No, Joy Division. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them to death.
Their 2 albums are, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Closer and Unknown Pleasures. And I actually chose to listen to Closer first, which nobody does apparently. But I do prefer not Closer, Unknown Pleasures, just because it's the Joy Division album.
Yeah.
All the good songs are on there.
And while we're in the post-punk Joy Division area, we might as well throw Interpol in there.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've listened to Turn on the Bright Lights by Interpol recently. And like it's really, 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 really good. Like
Oh, yeah.
really good. Like oh my god.
It's real.
Like where has this band been all my life? God. Can you believe they're not British?
Really?
They're from New York.
It's like the least British.
Yeah.
But what was there was another along that The National.
Oh yeah. They're like
High Violet.
yeah. While we're in
Great album.
the alt rock area, they're like my 6th or 7th favorite band.
I need to listen to more of them, but man, just High Violet's a lot to chew on.
Their first album is the only one where it's like eh.
Mhm.
And then like Sad Songs for Dirty Lovers, Alligator, Boxer, High Violet, Trouble Will Find Me, and Sleep Well Beast are all like, oh, I just gotta have a nice cry, it's fine.
Yeah, there are songs on High Violet where I'm just like, alright, it's fine. Vandalile, Crybaby Geeks.
Vandalile, cry, baby, cry.
I love that song. It's probably my favorite, actually. What other? I mean, like this is our genre right here. I'm sure I'm gonna find. I'm not sure whether or not. I don't know what to classify Muse as, because they're prog and alt, but only kind of both. It's really hard.
I don't know. But, you know, just call them alt rock and throw them in. They're
Yeah.
really good.
Absolution has been growing on me. I think that might actually replace Origin of Symmetry as my favorite.
I mean, they've kind of sucked for like the past 5 to 6
Yeah,
years, but
I mean, Resistance was fine.
because they've sold a way out, like real
Everything
hard.
after Resistance, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Drums has like 3 or 4 really good songs on it, and the rest of it is completely throwaway.
Bad. But Absolution, Black Holes and Revelations, Origin of Symmetry are just fantastic.
Even their first album, Showbiz, which is like Radiohead, the album,
Cool.
which is like, you know, it's
I mean,
pretty good.
Have you listened to Absolution? Sounds just like OK Computer. Like,
Mhm.
he even sounds like Tom York.
Mm-hmm.
Got that high pitch. Except, I don't know, I find... Not, I mean, like, Radiohead I obviously like more, but I feel like Muse just... There's really not a... For a band that you can tell has a lot of inspirations, nobody really sounds like them.
No.
There's just, like, they're a combination of so many different things, it's like, oh, it actually does sound kind of unique. It's like Radiohead and, like, just prog rock in general. All of it. The whole genre.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Altrook. The Menzingers?
They're punk.
Okay. Fair enough.
What do you mean? Okay, it's like power chord driven punk rock.
Thrice.
Yeah, I guess we
They
can
dip
put them
it
in
out.
there. They're like my 2nd favorite band, so it's real good.
The Alchemy Index is just the best. And that EP they did with
I mean, the best is Visu, but whatever. Nobody else.
Oh, I like Vaisu a lot too. But Alchemy Index is my favorite.
And while we're there, we might as well talk about Anne Berlin.
Oh yeah, we should. Anne Berlin is
Best band? Best band.
criminally underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering they have the best vocalist possibly ever working today, it's just like, well,
You did it, guys. You underrated them.
and they have, I mean, just like every song, they have so much energy and life about them. Like, there's just, even when they're slow, they just sound so, like, they sound big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the slower parts of songs, like Finn, for example. It's just like, there are parts where that just kind of peaks and valleys, but it's just like, I feel like it's gonna explode. I like it.
Like, a lot of their, like, more, like, I guess, like, twee pop punky stuff from, like, their first album, and even some stuff from Never Take Friendship Personal, and, like, a lot of stuff from their B-Sides album is, like, stuff I would usually find, like, insufferable.
Yeah.
But, like, Stephen Christian is singing on it, so...
It makes it okay.
Yeah. Like, it's like one review I read on Sputnik, I don't remember which review it was, but it's like, whenever Anne Berlin plays a song, it sounds like something that no one else has ever played before, and it's just because of Stephen Christian's vocals.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I don't really have any direct comparisons for them. They're so unique.
Yeah.
And two, I don't know. They have, they feel very they almost feel very, Devotion in particular parts of Cities, but it feels kind of like new and electronic, but without sounding inauthentic.
Well, I mean, it's just like, oh, you guys listen to Depeche Mode.
Yeah, it's like Depeche Mode and...
Have you heard their cover of Enjoy the Silence?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, when Amberlin covers anything, it's great. They covered that Smith songs, There's a Light That Never Goes Out.
Yeah, and then there's a friggin'
The Promise.
Yeah, that's really good.
Promise is
and
my
then
favorite one.
There's a New Order song that they cover, and that's probably my favorite cover from them. Yeah, True Faith, which is like, I'm not even a huge New Order fan, and they just made that song perfect. Yeah, they're like also my second favorite band. They're tied with Thrice.
Amberlin's just real good, and I think I came to the conclusion that I do prefer Devotion over Cities. And it's just because those albums are so good.
Well, I mean, like, the only reason Devotion doesn't win there is because, like, Cities was there for me in the hardest time of my life, so...
It's like, well... It's tough, because I don't really think I ever had music in that, like, in the really, really bad time. Like, I mean, it was mostly just Bowie, but... I don't know, I really didn't have a band until I started to hang out with you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's cool. Audio Slave? Audio Slave.
I don't really have much to say about them. I'm not huge into them.
I love their self-titled. It's great.
Yeah, their first album.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's real good. And, Manchester Orchestra. Black Mile to the Surface.
Mm-hmm.
Great album.
I'm only familiar with that one, but...
the one with the blue and the white cover, I was not too keen on. Just kind of sounds like The National, but with, the guy from Manchester Orchestra singing. And that was good. It's fine, but it's just, it doesn't really click with you. I keep looking at bands where I'm like, oh yeah, them, and I'm like, no, they're prog, never mind. It's just all of them. Gosh darn it. No, they're not either. How about The Cure? What are they? I've never been able to pin them down to a genre. And I listen to Disintegration and Pornography all the time.
New wave mixed with post-punk is what I would describe them as.
Gothic sometimes.
Yeah.
Pornography specifically.
I mean, I think Gothic pretty much just is post-punk mixed with new wave.
Yeah, basically. There's a band I really like called Oh Brother, which is frequently compared to Brand New. They're kind of midway between Brand New and The Deer Hunter. And they have an album called Disillusion, which is fantastic. And they also have one called Endless Light, which is fantastic. I think I prefer Endless Light just because that's like... I've never heard an album like that before. It is so bleak and stark in a way you don't really expect. And it just really takes you off guard. It reminds me a lot of my favorite Rush album, which is Grace Under Pressure.
So a lot of fun to listen to.
It was a lot of fun. Disillusion is by no means a happy listen, but it's way more accessible. It's a good ass. It's just really good.
How do you spell this band?
It's O apostrophe and then brother.
Oh,
brother.
Where are they? Why don't they pop up on Sputnik?
I don't know. You might have to type it in. Maybe just type in O and without the apostrophe. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, it didn't.
For up there for me is the new Gang of Youths album, Go Farther Into Lightness.
Have you found them on Sputnik before?
Yeah, that's how I found out about them in general.
Is that in the recommended bands somewhere?
Go find my 2015 list, because Endless Light is on it.
Okay.
And yeah, the Gang of Youths album, I think Fear and Trembling is probably my second favorite song of this year in general. Because that song is just fucking unbelievably good. So good. And
Man, you only gave Interpol like a 4.
Did I have it 4?
Yeah.
It's 4.5. I don't know what I'm
Okay,
doing.
there you go. Lists.
Oh god, I'm surprised it took me this long. Which is my favorite of all of these
Favorite of
albums.
2016, you said?
Yeah. 2015 or 16.
Well, you
16,
only,
yeah,
you
it's
only have
yeah.
a 16.
It's
so.
16. It should be in
Wow,
like
you're-
the...
Act 5 only got to, well, not only, but it got to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You like it more than a moon-shaped pool?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. It's so good.
No, there's
like,
just no space between O, the apostrophe, and brother.
That's stupid.
Wow, you did it, guys.
It's like Sun O, parenthesis, parenthesis, parenthesis. Oh, but my favorite of all, like, well, it's kind of emo alt rock, but it's Like Home No Place There Is,
Yeah.
by the Hotelier.
Yeah.
And that album is
Which is like,
unfathomably good.
I'll cry now.
It is literally like listening to your own adolescence, mostly the bad parts.
Yeah.
In a beautiful way, but like it's just, oh god, Among the Wildflowers and In Framing just destroy me, as well as Dendron.
Yeah, but I think Housebroken is the only song that I can think of that will make me cry every single time.
That's certainly up there.
It's like about a dog, so I'm like,
Doug.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
They're alt rock, but they're mostly metal. But I didn't mention King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They're like garage metal, like alt rock.
That music's cool.
It's awesome. Like you just listen to Nonagon Infinity, and it's just like, I feel like I'm in somebody's garage, like just of a really good band,
Like,
and I love it.
This is whack. Cool.
Yeah, and their album this year, Murder of the Universe, is awesome. Still listen to it, still like it. And they also have an album that's older that nobody talks about called I'm in Your Mind Fuzz, and it's great.
Alright, so I'm kind of getting sleepy.
Uh-huh.
So should we
Prague?
just dive right into that.
Prague.
Where to start?
Um,
Just go like alphabetically?
I think we should start at the root of it all, which is Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
They're not the first prog rock band, but they're the most influential by far, and they're just, like, if you want to get in... I guess you could make an argument that King Crimson is slightly more influential, but everybody knows Pink Floyd.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't make that argument.
It's very...
I would hear that argument, and I might agree with it if I was
But-
persuaded. But
Pink Floyd, I mean, I have a ranking for it on Sputnik, but, I mean, I don't dislike any Pink Floyd album.
the only one I like outright dislike is The Endless River.
And I understand that completely, because it can,
It's a
like...
bunch of like B-sides and wankery, and they sold it to me as an album. Like,
No, I
man.
get that. It's just really soothing, so I find some value in it. I think I gave it like a 3, but it's good. It's fine. But it's, you know, when you're the band that made The Wall, my standards are kind of high.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is the other of my favorite album of all time, because The Wall is just the most cinematic piece of music I have ever heard. It is a movie, but it's music.
Which
And
is
then there's a
cool,
movie.
because they made them. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of them are amazing.
But no, like the 4 albums, like Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, Wish You Were Here, and Animals, are like, all right, well, you're just the best band ever. It's
They
fine.
are the albums. Now, they're not even the prog rock albums. They are the albums.
Mhm.
Like, I think I'd say Dark Side of the Moon has the most famous album cover of all time.
Probably, yeah.
People, like, buy shirts with that on it and have never listened to Pink Floyd. That's how you know it's iconic. But, yeah, my favorite's The Wall, but honestly, the first 4, in terms of quality and how much I enjoy them just as a whole, are pretty interchangeable. Like, you know, I don't like Animals as much as The Wall, Wish You Were Here, and Dark Side of the Moon, but it's very close.
Me either, but yeah, it's
And their
close.
most underrated album is Metal, which is honestly just as good as Animals. It's just that nobody listens to it. And they have a really good debut album. If you like the Beatles, you will like Piper at the Gates of Dawn.
with Mr. Sid Barrett.
Sid Barrett.
He
Uh,
crazy.
I get less and less. I can't really. The final cut. It's kind of the wall. Diet the Wall.
Yeah.
There are some ones that are good, but it's just kind of like, all right, Roger, we get it.
Yeah, you like yourself a lot. Cool.
Yeah, it's just like you're really
I
indulgent
just
here.
really don't understand how a momentary lapse of reason is lower rated than the Endless River.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong.
The Endless River is at a 3, and a momentary lapse of reason is at a 2.8.
A momentary lapse of reason has flying on it, doesn't it?
Or
Or learn to fly? Because that's like
Learning to Fly.
Yeah, that's like one of the best Floyd songs. I mean, every good Floyd song, for the most part, is just on the 4 albums we mentioned previously, but, like, there's still so many underrated gems. They had, like, Pigs, 3 different ones. That song's... Oh, my God. But, I mean, like, every song on the wall is, like, my favorite song. All of them.
Yeah.
Like, Mother, Comfortably Numb, The Thin Ice,
Run Like Hell.
Run Like Hell, Vera...
How is that like the lowest rated one of the 4?
I don't know.
It is beyond me.
The best one, in my opinion, is not The Wall. I'd actually give that to Wish You Were Here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that album is just, like, the most cohesive album ever recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It is... And, I mean, Wish You Were Here is...
It's also the highest rated album on Sputnik.
That maybe it makes sense. I think Wish You Were Here, the song, is, like, my 3rd favorite song ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just because... Damn. It's like... What is better than that? Please.
Damn, 7 out of 10.
And I mean, even their less enjoyable albums are all great.
I just need to go ahead and download like all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got them all. I can give it to you.
I mean, I'm sure it's not hard to find.
No, not even at all. I think I torrented the entire discography. And I also, they're like the only band I have ever downloaded the live albums for. Like, the live for Wish You Were Here is great because they have different songs on it, like ones you never heard before, and just the instrumentation's a bit different. Sometimes they have, like, guest musicians, and it's super good. It's real good. I like Pink Floyd a lot. So then I guess we talk about if they're the king of prog. Now we talk about the prince, Rush.
Yeah.
Rush.
Which
What a band.
Who I like more than Pink Floyd.
I don't, but I mean,
Yeah,
they're the same. It's like
tomato.
really. Rush don't make bad albums either. In fact, they kind of avoided the prog rock slump because Clockwork Angels is one of my favorites, and that was their most recent.
Yeah.
Like, the instrumentations on Clockwork Angels are just... Oh my god. Like, BU to B is... God bless. What a song.
Oh my god. You guys are geniuses or something.
And Moving Pictures... That's, like, the wall of Rush.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's... And Grace Under Pressure, I think, is super underrated. That one's my favorite. Circumstances used to be, but it was just slightly beat out, just a tiny bit. Still perfect.
Their worst album was probably Caress of Steel. Which is still pretty good.
Barely listened to it, but I don't remember.
It's just not particularly memorable. It's like Hold Your Fire, but Hold Your Fire has a time stand still, so it wins.
1922? Is that them? Is that the year?
Huh?
Didn't they do like one that was a year?
I think so.
Oh wait, isn't it 2119? Something like that.
Are you for real forgetting about 2112 right now?
2112. That's it.
That's like it's like the Rush album.
I know, but we both think it's overrated and don't listen to it that much.
Yeah, but I mean, you can at least remember the name.
I know.
It's literally 2112.
Okay, I get it. Can I go now?
Never.
Well, let's...
Well, Rush is amazing. Go listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking Neil Peart and Geddy Lee. Go.
And Alex Lifeson. I swear to God, if you forget about Alex Lifeson, I'm gonna punch you. My favorite guitarist. Fight.
If we're gonna... I mean, we can... This is more classic rock, but they have enough albums that dwell into other categories that do go in... Like, my favorite album from them is Prog, but Queen, my favorite guitarist, Brian May. Innuendo is a prog album. That is unquestionable. It's also one of the greatest albums ever recorded in the history of mankind. I mean, like, The Show Must Go On could just be the album, and it would be just as good.
Just 12 times.
Yeah, really, but it's just like, no, all of these songs are great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Freddie at his absolute best. And then there's Queen 2, which is every bit as good as Innuendo. And Queen 1, which is almost as good. It's like a 4.5, not a 5, but it's close.
Yeah,
And even Made in Heaven, which is a kind of a mixed bag, is still incredible.
Yeah, Innuendo has a 3.9 average user rating.
Why?
Because people
It's
are
the
not intelligent.
Best one! Like, I didn't think that anything could beat Queen 2 for my favorite one, but I was just like, nah, this is pretty good, I can't lie. News of the World.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Every Queen album. All of them. They're all good.
Day at the Races.
Day at the Races, Night at the Opera. Night at the Opera is like...
Attack.
Night at the Opera is a classic, but honestly, it's like everybody listens to that for Death on Two Legs and Bohemian Rhapsody, and that's pretty much it. Also, I mean, like, I hate to say it because it's a great song, it's a great band, but like, listen to a little bit more Queen if your favorite Queen song is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
It's up there, don't get me wrong, duh, but like, just go listen to The Show Must Go On.
Mm-hmm.
Or from Made in Heaven, the best one. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The one he died on.
Yeah.
We know. He's sad. What other alt?
While we're talking about Queen, A Kind of Magic is like really close to being my favorite.
It's good.
But to be fair, it's because it's like the Highlander soundtrack. So I just know it like the back of my hand.
Dude, Flash Gordon's soundtrack. Flash. Oh.
It's not a good album though.
No. What? Like, I didn't mention. I'm stupid. It kind of. Well, we're kind of with classic rock and Queen, but
use your words.
Rising by Rainbow. Like,
I mean, I haven't listened to it, so.
And Holy Diver by Dio.
Yes. We didn't talk about that. We were in metal.
Shit, we're wrong for doing that.
We're dumb.
Very stupid. I also have Long Live Rock and Roll, which is amazing, and I also have Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. Good name, guys. You've done it. They're all great.
Yeah. He's from Deep Purple.
Yes.
Peep,
and he's not the people you want in Peep Purple. It's just. But Prague. Oh, well, I mean, I'll briefly touch on them, but I know you're not a huge fan, but King Crimson we did mention earlier.
Well,
they're
that's
one of my
just
favorites.
because I haven't listened to them.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
When did I ever say I didn't like King Crimson?
When I started listening to them, I was just like, you ever heard of King Crimson? You're like, yeah, I tried to listen to them once, and I just couldn't get into them.
Well, I was like in 9th grade and stupid.
Okay.
So.
Well, In the Court of the Crimson King is one of my 5 favorite albums of all time, and it's like all 5 songs are
like, dude, just look at that album cover.
I mean, yeah, it's like one of the more iconic ones, but like 21st Century Schizoid Man, easily one of my favorite songs ever, and just in general. But like even the slower cuts like Moonchild and I Talk to the Wind are great, and then In the Court of the Crimson King, which is the last song, which is just this. But Epitaph is my favorite because I mean, if you saw my short film Circumstances, that's what I ended it with because that song is a gut punch if there ever was one. And they have so many other albums that people just don't listen to. Like, Red gets a lot of attention, and deservedly so. It's a little bit more classic rock, so I don't really listen to it as often as maybe I do In the Court of the Crimson King or their other highly rated one. Shit. I gotta find the King. Like, basically, if you like Pink Floyd, you've done it. You found it. Oh, in the Wake of Poseidon, which is also good, but honestly, I think they have one album called Beat, which has like a negative 7,000 on Sputnik, which is it's great. I really don't understand. Lark's Tongues and Aspic is good, overrated though. But the 2 albums that nobody talks about that I feel like deserve way more attention from them are Lizard and Starless and Bible Black, cause every single song on those is like just as good as the best of Pink Floyd. There's no reason why people should not love those albums as much as the other 3.
So if we're gonna dive into neo-prog for a second here,
Mhm.
Coheed and Cambria. They're like Coheed and Cambria.
Even Canberra Umbrella.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mhm.
They are one of my favorite bands, like 6th or 7th around that area.
Claudio.
They're bat crap crazy.
Oh yeah,
They're
their songs are fever dreams.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
I haven't
Like-
listened to them yet.
Like they're all right.
I had to scratch my nose.
Thank you for that. Their first 4 albums are absolutely flawless.
Cool.
And if anyone tells you that No World for Tomorrow is a bad album, smack them in the face and you run away.
Okay, I can do that.
Good, thank you. And that goes to anyone who happens to be listening.
Fight
No
me.
World for Tomorrow is the best one. Maybe only behind Second Stage Turbine Blade.
They have some good album titles.
Yeah.
You don't forget that.
And then, Year of the Black Rainbow is, it's an album.
It does exist.
The Afterman albums, I've only really, super familiar with the first one, because I'm still going through Dissension right now,
Mhm.
but they're both real good. Real good. They're, a retooling of, the Coheed sound in a really interesting way.
Oh,
And,
fancy.
Color Before the Sun is,
An album.
it exists. It's alright.
Should we transition to the Mars Volta from that?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, call it.
Yeah.
We both really like Francis the Mute.
So, Deloused in the Comatorium is really good. However, it is vastly overrated, if you ask me. It's basically just the 4th At the Drive-In album,
I remember you said that.
which is a good thing, but
Just
it
not
doesn't.
as good as the Mars Volta's other albums.
Yeah. Well, it's not as good as Francis the Mute.
No. Nothing is.
Words.
Elvia Kes.
Yeah. At the Drive-In was okay, so Deloused in the Comatorium is the 4th At the Drive-In album, basically, but it doesn't have the focus of Relationship of Command, and it doesn't have the charm of In Casino Out. So it's just kind of
Middle ground.
yeah, it's a 4 out of 5, I would say. It's really good. It's
Mhm.
just not the 4.4 average user rating out of 5 on Sputnik. Especially when Francis the Mute is at 4.2.
Gay.
No, Francis the Mute is probably just my favorite album.
So it's definitely it's up there.
Yeah. Now that I'm at a point in my life where I don't really need The Devil and God
I
by
can
Brand
see.
New.
Or Deja.
Yeah. It's kind of just, best album ever.
Is
It's definitely, without contest, my favorite concept album.
vocally.
Oh,
There are no words.
no.
That that
Lyrically.
it could just be the vocals. I'd just be like, yeah, it's a masterpiece. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Francis the Mute deserves a podcast all on its own,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to dwell on that too long. It's just go listen to it and try your best to have your expectations set at absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time you listen to that without any real expectations, you're going to get your brain hole blown out your butt.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome.
And then Amputecture is half of the best songs that the Mars Volta ever wrote. And then
Half the worst.
well, not the worst, but just
The lesser.
I could take or leave them,
Mhm.
So it ends up being a 3.5 out of 5. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to remember the order here, because I'm familiar with them all. Okay, yeah. The Bedlam and Goliath is really underrated and really good. It's probably the most accessible Mars Volta album, except for maybe Deloused. But yeah, it's kind of more straightforward, And Octahedron is kind of a follow-up on that sound. But, it kind of suffers for how easy it is. It's only 50 minutes long, and the other albums are, an hour and a half.
Yeah, Mars Volta. I keep calling it Mars Volta. It's called Francis the Mute, Jake. You're dumb.
Yeah.
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 Wah.
Nocturnicat is good. It's just kind of unmemorable.
Element name.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that.
They're really good at that.
Yeah.
Francois the Mute.
Yeah. It's good. It's just not quite as memorable
Mm-hmm.
and quite as, like, punchy as their first four, you know?
Mhm.
And, like, I feel like everything after Francis the Mute just kind of gets swallowed up in a vortex of, like,
Sorry.
this is post Francis the Mute, Mars Volta.
Ow.
Yay. But, you know, they're all of their albums are definitely worth a listen. So, yeah.
I need to. I need to dive into that.
So
Now we can talk about, we can segue also into the Deer Hunter.
I'm not through all their albums yet. I'm only through the first two.
I can talk about them a little bit.
The first one I really like, even though it is, like, really short and practically an EP.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, it's like, I don't know, I like, started out listening to it, and I started really strong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I listen to it more, it's like, every 2 songs, there's one I'm like, you could have just not had this on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's the... Just a second.
It's like called. I think it's called "The Meaning in All Things Related to Misleading."
Yeah, it's like The Death and the Birth, which is just like the intro instrumental. And then The Procession and The Lake and the River, which are just so good.
Oh.
Like, so good, bro. Like, The Lake and the River is probably just the best Deer Hunter song of the first part.
Yeah.
You know, like Act 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Oracles on the Delphi Express.
It's fine.
Just like, it's a Broadway musical song
Uh-huh.
that is on here for some reason.
That's like when they just delve into being like just slightly too overproduced is when they lose me, and they don't even stay like consistent with that, like on a song by song basis, not even album. It's just sometimes they can be like, all right, guys, we can tone it down. That's why I don't like 3 that much, is because it's mostly that, but like there's still a lot of really good cuts on it.
Well, yeah, it's like how every other song is, like, kind of meh. It's like every other song where I find Casey Crescenzo's voice insufferable.
Which
Like-
is weird because he's got a great voice.
Yeah. Like, on The Church and the Dime, he's just, like, howling those later parts, and I'm like, this is amazing. And then the Oracles on the Delphi Express, where he's just like, I'm in a Broadway musical. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want you to die right
That's
now.
like the only thing holding back Act 5 from a 5 for me is the song Mr. What the fuck is it called? Look it up.
I got an itch on my butt.
You better scratch that, boy.
I got it.
Mr. Usher. It's like the one, like, it's not a bad song, but it's just very like what you said, like Broadway musical song, and it really just doesn't fit
It's
on this
just
album.
like, yeah, like the Oracles on the Delphi Express, like right after The Lake and the River, is really tonally confusing.
There's always one song on every single album they've ever made where I just be like, take away that one song, vastly improved. It's not even that the song is bad; it's just it doesn't fit there.
Like the first one that has the Pimp and the Priest, where
Mhm.
I'm like, meh, eh,
It's fine.
yeah.
I mean, when they bring it up later in Act 5, it's better there, so
Yeah.
it's like, alright, there's no point. But, yeah, Act 1, I really like. Like, it's a 4.
That's what I gave it.
Act 2 is like a 4.5. Act 3 is like a 3.5. It's fine. Act 4 and 5, on the other hand, that's where we get real good. Like those.
That's where it gets lit.
Like, Rebirth is just whacked out of its mind. Like, I don't think I've heard an album just sound like that. And then Act 5 is like an out-of-body experience. You just listen to that and you're like, this is what Euphoria is like. You just listen to, like, The Moon or Most Cursed Hands.
Yeah, I was listening to the
Here you go.
the Moon Awake in AP Lit one day, because I was like, oh, Deer Hunter's supposed to be good. I'll listen to them. And I just turned it on. And I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, like once we
floating.
get once
floating.
we get to Gloria, it's like, like Gloria is like the end of 2001: Space Odyssey. It's like, oh my
Like,
god.
you know that part in The Moon Awake where Casey, like, hits that high note? I remember the first time I listened to that, I felt all the blood leave my head, and I was just like, oh. Catch me.
I literally like. I
Squeeze
literally
my
just
earbuds.
I just downloaded this because I was getting a bunch of albums from this year or from that year, and it was like 2 a.m. and I was just like, I'm gonna sleep to this just because I didn't like know anything about the albums I was downloading other than like the genre. Never listened to the artist before, so this was the first one, and I was just like, I'm tired, and then I was just like, and then the Moon the Wake started, and I was just like,
It's like, oh, bass guitar.
God, and it was beautiful, and like honestly, even Act 3, like all of them are worth a listen. But just if you find yourself getting stuck in slower parts of the first 3, keep in mind 4 and 5 are straight gold, so just push through if you have a hard time. But they're very much in the vein of like storytelling wise, they remind me a lot of Mars Volta. Just in how they're
It's not quite that lucid. But...
No, but they're just these really whacked out esoteric stories about weirdly specific people with weird lives, and then them dying, and then like that's my favorite part about Act 5 is that it's just like Act 4 is rebirth. So what is Act 5?
Dead.
It's just like you've been elevated to a plane of higher understanding.
Oh, this is a bunch of dead folks.
Yeah, really. And it's, I don't know, they're not hit and miss. It's just that they have...
It's not hit and miss, it's like peaks and valleys.
Yeah, they have some descents into like slightly above average, but when they hit a high note, literally, it's high, like real high. They're very... I find them to be kind of underrated just because they get lost in the wayside of every prog rock group ever.
You haven't said anything about the color spectrum.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. They have 2 like more well-known albums that are outside of that, and one of them's The Color Spectrum, which is a collection of all the EPs they did that are songs that are supposedly based around color. And it's like, if they suddenly decided to take an industrial kind of edge, like 9 Inch Nails, but with their normal music, and it's like, I don't know how that would sound. It sounds really good. That's what it sounds like. Every song is so good. Like, some of them are like, alright, that was cool. But then some of them are just like, dude.
Bruh.
And then there's Migrant. And Migrant is fine. That is all I have to say about it.
That's really all I've heard about it.
It's fine. I would, it's also like a 3 or a 3.5, like, Act 3. But I would way rather listen to Act 3. There's nothing, like, stupidly wrong with Migrant. It's just, like, it feels like they were like, let's take all the songs that we weren't going to use in Act 1 through 5 and put them on an album. It's like, alright. Why?
Like, this has no focus. Cool.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't really understand what the point of this was, but alright. I mean, cool. Prague. What else are we missing? We're missing something.
Well, before we talk about Porcupine Tree...
That's what it was.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
The only thing we will talk about more than Opeth.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'll, like, scroll through as we're talking about it, and I'll, like, be like, hey, there's this, we're stupid. But, Porcupine Tree is probably just... Like, what do you even... How do you describe it?
I really feel like they should be your favorite band, and they're not, just for some reason.
You know, now because of the whole Jesse Lacey thing, I think I might do an Opeth, and just... Because, like, Opeth is the most you band ever. Porcupine Tree is the most me band ever. All their faults included. Like, Porcupine Tree has one album that is not amazing. And it's just good. Yeah, it's just the first one. On the Sunday of Life, is that what it is?
Yeah.
And it's fine. It is a perfectly acceptable prog rock album. It's like the, it's their Pablo Honey. Where it's like, they haven't really found their sound yet. And in fact, they didn't really find it until after The Sky Moves Sideways, but, you know, you just tell that Stephen Wilson really likes Pink Floyd. Like,
I mean, you can tell that from The Sky Moves Sideways' album cover.
Yeah, you're just like, wow, this just actually looks like all of the 80s Pink Floyd albums. But, I mean, we should go in order of just how they came out. Porcupine.
Chronologically.
But
Words.
yeah. But On the Sunday of Life is fine. Signify is their album after that, which is real good.
Signify's not after that. It's up to downstairs.
Yes, it is. Sorry, I mix up Signify and Up the Downstairs just because they're not as like psychedelic as the Sky Moves Sideways, but they're in that ilk. They sound very similar. I am a bigger fan of Up the Downstairs than I am Signify, but I wouldn't even call them disposable because they're good albums. It's just the problem is the rest of their albums are so good that it's like you can skip them. Like if you're a big fan of the band, do it, duh. But like the Sky Moves Sideways is just kind of like them, but more focused. And even then, it's like, do you like Pink Floyd? Then you'll like this. They don't. It doesn't get real good until timeline wise, right after that's an Absentia, isn't it? Or a Stupid Dream before that.
It's Stupid Dream, Light Bulb Sun, then in Absent.
Oh, okay. Totally wrong then. Stupid Dream is a great album.
I've been listening to that one a lot lately, and like, Piano Lessons is seriously high up there.
It is.
It's a freaking banger, bro.
It's a lot of people don't like completely care for it. I'm just like, I think it's every bit as good as an Absentia is.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The best way to describe it is like this is when they really started to like sound like what Porcupine Tree would sound like, and
it's kind of like Britpop mixed with like more progressive stuff.
With more progressive stuff, it's like it is like Britpop, but without any of not necessarily without the pop, but without the pop appeal.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this music that will make you want to listen to it if you like Britpop. It just has elements. But Stupid Dream is great. I think it has the weakest closer of a Porcupine Tree album and Stop Swimming, and I guess that's like I guess I just don't prefer it. This one has Even Less. It has Piano Lessons. It has A Smart Kid, Tinto Brass, and Don't Hate Me.
Pure Narcotic.
Pure Narcotic too.
Yeah.
Just bangers. They're great. It's a pretty heavy album too, like as much as In Absentia, if not more, in some cases. But In Absentia it's the Porcupine Tree album.
Yeah.
And I mean, it opens with Blackest Eyes, which is. I fucking love that riff so much. It's burned into my brain. Which has one bad song on it, and that's The Creator Has a Master Tape.
It's just because it's the same bass riff for like 6 minutes.
And Steven Wilson whispering all of the lyrics, which is fine sometimes. He's a great singer. But
he's a great whisperer.
I'm Steven Wilson. I'm going to talk about trains a lot. I like trains.
Trains.
You will hear a lot of things about trains.
Light Bulb Sun is like...
That's Morgan's favorite.
Yes. Do you like The Bends by Radiohead?
But better.
Yeah. Better. Yeah.
Not like immensely or anything. Yeah. Like I think The Bends is supremely underrated. But is that...
It's like that line... That's why Pure Narcotic makes me so happy. It's like you keep me listening to The Bends. I'm like, oh, he is a Radiohead fan.
It's like that. There was a that new sorority noise album mentions they're playing the 59 Sound in Heaven. And I'm like, hey, nice one. But yeah, Light Bulb Sun. I go back and forth on whether or not I like that or In Absentia more. But it's like sometimes I'm like, all right, so that one's got Blackest Eyes and Trains. But then I look at Light Bulb Sun and I'm like.
It's like, all of this is just so good.
Chance to Evacuate Planet Earth, The Rest Will Flow. Oh, these are good. I mean, like, the song I like the least is still a good song. It's 4 chords that made a million. It's just kind of whiny, but that's...
The one I like the least is Rush on Ice, just because it's, like, kind of slow.
Second. It is, and, like, for a lower energy album, it has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, and it's just a feeling. It's a great breakup album.
Mm-hmm.
We would know. Oh, God. And let's see. Is it Deadwing?
After
I think it's Deadwing.
hang on.
'Cause I don't think Fear of a Blank Planet was before.
No.
No, it wasn't. It was their second to last.
Yeah. It's gotta be Deadwing. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
Deadwing. Deadwing's awesome.
Deadwing is like, it's a lot like Amputecture by the Mars Volta. Like, the first half, I've even started to like Lazarus, and I used to hate that song.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
Like, the first 5 songs on Deadwing are literally the best songs that Porcupine Tree ever wrote.
Arriving Somewhere But Not Here is just like...
yeah, that's my favorite song, literally.
In general.
Yeah. And then, the last 4 are, like, completely useless.
Yeah, it's like Mother and Child Divided. I don't even remember that song. Like, I just don't.
Like, the only one that... I've listened to Deadwing so many times, and the only one I remember... Yeah. The only one I've listened that, like, I can recall right now of the last 4 songs is Open Car.
Mm-hmm.
And that song's, like, just alright.
Actually, Open Car is 7th.
Yeah.
There's 12 songs on it. 14 songs.
On Deadwing?
Oh, I might just have the deluxe edition of the album. Yeah, I do, never mind.
Yeah, there's only 9 songs
Okay.
officially on Deadwing.
Yeah, Mellotron Scratch, whatever.
It's useless.
Halo.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's it's intense.
Yeah.
In a way that the other ones weren't. Like, in Absentia got close at times. Even Stupid Dream, but it's like, nah. Deadwing was like, Steven, you're working out some shit, aren't you?
You're a little mad.
You're a little angry. And then we get to my favorite Porcupine Tree album, which is Fear of a Blank Planet, which is just 6 songs of pure gold.
I just haven't gotten into it yet.
I've
I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just waiting for it to click.
20 times.
Like, the title track and Anesthetize are obviously like, this is the best you all ever got.
Anesthetize is, like, my second favorite Porcupine Tree song. I think my favorite would be My Ashes. But, I mean, they're here. And God, just every time I hear Sleep Together, I'm just like, oh, this is just devastating. Oh my God, if I didn't have light bulb sun to balance this out, I would die. And way out of here is instrumentally, and lyrically, but instrumentally, my God. And just the way his voice works in that song, the production on this album is flawless. But he's just like, well, here, and then just carries it and it soars. It's beautiful. I love it.
You want to talk about the incident now?
Yeah. The incident is
an album.
Very difficult to talk about. It's an hour and a half long. It's like because of 3 songs.
Like, I really don't want to listen to it. That's the only one where I'm like...
It's a great album. It's just really inaccessible. Do not listen to it as, like, one of your first. In fact, make it the last one you listen to.
Like, the only ones I want to listen to I don't want to listen to are On the Sunday of Life and The Incident, and it's because they're both, like, 20 songs long.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't...
it's just, like...
They both have, like, 3 10-minute cuts where I'm like...
And I mean, like, and again, one of my favorite ones is Anesthetize, which is, like, what, 14 minutes?
17.
Yeah, long. And it's good. I think The Incident is a bit more of... If you like Deadwing, you'll like The Incident. It's sort of Deadwing meets parts of Lightbulb Sun. But, in terms of, like, bands that have last albums, this is a pretty damn good one. Like, considering this is the one they left it on a pretty high note.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, my problem with the album is just this. It's too damn long. That is it. Like, everything else, it's like, this is some of the best material they ever made. Like, the Seance, The Incident, just the song, Black Dahlia, and Flicker. Great. There's one song that I just outright do not like. Kneel and Disconnect. Which is...
I put The Blind House as a freaking banger.
The Blind House.
Second track.
Ah. What are the opening chords to this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Porcupine Tree is great. They're great, and I listen to them very frequently.
As do I. They're probably the band I listen to like the most frequently right now.
Yeah, me too.
It's like the first 5 songs on Deadwing are like just like, oh, this is the thing that I put on when I need to hear something.
Yeah, like every time a Porcupine Tree pops up, I'm like a little shuffle thing. I'm like, all right, gotta sit down and listen. Time to do it.
Yep.
And Steven Wilson also did a solo album this year called To the Bone, which is like, the other last Porcupine Tree album. And it's great.
I've also heard Hand Cannot Erase is like really, really good.
I need to like get a hold of that like now.
I have it downloaded, I just haven't.
But Pariah is oh my god, what a beautiful song. I mean, partially because of the guest vocals there being like out of this world good. But even just musically, it's like, damn, dude, you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, what is Same Asylum as Before? Great.
That's like, I love that riff, like the opening riff,
It's good.
and I love the chorus. It's just the vocals in the verse are like annoying.
I don't really even remember what they were, just because I remember too much of the riff.
He's just all falsetto on it, and I'm like. It's like nails on a chalkboard, dude. Stop it.
Get me Kale to come in here. Which is funny because, like, I'm just gonna... I'll have to change it, but it's like, if Porcupine Tree's my favorite band and Opeth is yours, is there a reason that Storm Corrosion shouldn't be liked by both of us? But somehow, like, they just cancel each other out, and it is a nothing album. 2.5 out of 5 the album.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, I'd probably give it, like, a 2, just because it bores me to tears. A song called Hag should not make me want to sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
it's called Hag.
It's fascist.
Awesome. That's awesome. You should do an album and then just have track 3, Hag. Track 4, fascist.
And then the last one, fascist, Hag. That's such a Father John Misty thing.
And then the bonus track is Jog On.
We make a concept album that is the entire story of every movie in the Cornetto trilogy, and they're all lines from it.
The bonus track is Jog On. It's just me babbling in Cockney accent, and you playing the accordion or something weird.
He's like, all right, go. You're that guy from Hot Fuzz, who's Filch.
Here's a lot of junk.
Pierce Brosnan pilling his... Not Pierce Brosnan, I do this every time.
You do.
It's Timothy Dalton, not Pierce Brosnan.
They don't even look alike.
Don't mix up your bonds.
Alright, this has been just 2 hours and 12...
Go listen to Porcupine Tree.
2 hours and 12 minutes of Jake's work back and babbling about music they like.
We're bad.
It's probably not even very good. Goodbye. Goodbye. I love you.